Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, this is Adam Diaz,
Hello.
And today we are going to be sharing your homegrown horrors that you guys sent to us with the rest of our amazing friends.
Right on. So a homegrown horror, in case you were wondering, is a story, like Robin has said, that you have sent to us. It could be your story, a friend, a family member, pretty much a story that you know intimately, you know the details of, and you want to send our way. That story can be scary, spooky, coincidental, true crime, horrific. If you were alive in 1816, I'd definitely like to hear about what that year was like, or 1874. If you have any feedback on any of the topics that we have, I know we had some really good feedback on Robin's topic today. People were really excited that we were talking about something from that region. We certainly want to hear about it. So folks, if they have stuff like that they want to send in, Robin, where can they send it?
You can send it to our email, storytime@scariest.com, or just reach out to us at any of our social media outlets. We even have a website, scariest.com. There's a contact us page. You guys can fill that whole form out and get it to us that way.
Indeed. So those are the ways you can reach out to us if you would like to. We would certainly like to hear your story. So we have 3 this evening. We have 2 regular size ones and one that's extra long. I have split it in half. Robin's going to have one half. I'm going to have the other. So I figure what we can do is I can read one. You can read the first half of the super long email. Then I can read the second half of the super long email. Then you can read your other one. So I'm going to move into my first email of the show. And this one's subject is insert catchy title here. And then in parentheses, you can read this on the pod. It starts out like this. Hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. Last night I woke up to go pee and get a drink. Whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, I make it a point to not check the time so I don't scare myself if it happens to be 3 a.m. After I did my business, I walked to the kitchen and turned the light on so I could get some water. I was holding the ice cube tray when the power went out. I immediately dropped the tray, sending ice flying everywhere, and sprinted to my bedroom. I flung myself on top of my peacefully sleeping boyfriend in a full-blown panic because fuck the dark, and almost broke his legs. My phone was lit up, as it does when removed from a power source, showing me it was 3:14 a.m. That's hilarious.
I think it's funny. The thing that just trips me up most is the fact that they were holding an ice cube tray.
Right.
Because I just can't even imagine having to use ice cube trays.
I haven't used one since like my second or third apartment, I think. I've always had a fridge that makes them for me at this point.
Yeah. I freeze our pesto, but I put them in nice little silicone little chocolate shapes. So like I have snowmen, so I shape them like little snowman cubes. But ice cubes, that's so crazy that's something that's like a thing.
Well, so bougie, Robin, judging everyone that uses ice cube trays out there. All right. It goes on to say, my boyfriend is one of those lucky people who can fall asleep almost immediately, so he was knocked back out. As I sat there half laughing at myself for being a 24-year-old woman who's terrified of the dark and half crying because, again, fuck the darkness, I see a blue light in the living room. I knew the power hadn't come back on because our box fan was still off. #TeamFan. As I looked at it, it suddenly got brighter, so I noped under the covers. I knew it couldn't have been a car's headlights because they would have had to have driven by my ground floor bedroom window, so I would have heard it. Could it have been scary murder robbers with flashlights? Maybe an alien spaceship beaming its light in to abduct us? An obnoxiously bright, ghosty orb? Let me know what you guys think. I'm open to any possibility, and they all seem creepy. Love the podcast and all you guys do. Thanks for being so awesome, Chelsea.
Thank you. So your lights could be out in your house, but there could be lights on in other places that are shining in. Literally across the street, the lights could still be on, you know?
It could be a floating jellyfish that has some sort of bioluminescence that can float in the air instead of the water. That's where my head went to immediately. Don't ask me why, but that's just what I thought. So it's really hard to tell without being there. I'm going to go ahead and guess there was some sort of light source that kicked on. I don't know, maybe inside your own house. I think you'd know your, like, appliances and stuff better than I would because the power went out, and it's, like, displaying the fact that there's no battery or whatever.
Yeah, or, I mean, things that run on batteries will still be on, and so it's just brighter than everything else because everything else is off.
Yeah, there's plenty of things it could have been, but without knowing the layout of your home and the composition of the room and what's in it, it's kind of hard to speculate, so I'm going to go with flying glowing jellyfish.
Okay.
So that's what I got for you.
Flying spaghetti monster.
Flying spaghetti monster. Thank you so much for sending that in. We appreciate it, and hopefully you can let us know what it was if you ever figure it out.
So this next email that I'm going to read is titled Spooky Dreams. And
Interesting.
It goes like this. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Aslan, Aislyinn.
The lion from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
And that's Aslan, isn't
sorry.
it?
Aslan.
Isn't his name Aslan?
I'm pretty sure it's Aslan.
Aslan. Boom. Okay.
I remember reading that book when I was like 7 and being so confused when that stupid thing died. I was like,
okay,
what the fuck is happening right now?
I was confused because I didn't learn that it was like a whole...
An allegory for Jesus.
Yeah, I had no idea. Okay, anyway. Yeah, until I was like an adult. Anyway, going on. I just recently started listening to the podcast on Spotify. There's so many episodes for me to catch up on.
Shout out to Spotify.
There are a lot of episodes for you to catch up on. But I got inspired. You can't even see my gun fingers.
Finger guns.
There's
Fireball in the room, which means I have to drink now.
But I got inspired by the homegrown horror stories to send in my own spooky dreams that have messed with me over the last few years. Please feel free to read this on the podcast. Here it is.
We shall.
My first ever experience with sleep paralysis-like dreams was about 2 years ago, not long after I moved in with my dad. I'd always had really creepy and sometimes fucked up nightmares in this house, but never when I lived with my mom in other homes. That being said, I totally think that certain places are more... the energy is more open to that. Different. Yeah, and so I know I had a cousin who in one house would have horrible dreams. At least I don't know if it's my mind making this up or if she actually told me this, but they had horrible dreams in one house, but wouldn't in a different house. And so some homes just have this like portal of energy, I think, that you kind of get bad vibes when you're there. There are places that I've been to where I could not get comfortable and I just could not sleep because it wasn't a comfortable place for me to be. Certain homes that I've slept in, like apartments that I've had horrible nightmares, and then you just go to this other place and it's completely different and you never do.
Right. So, I've had horrible nightmares in a few places. Yeah, I always wonder though, like, is it the place itself that has bad energy, or is like the veil just thin right there? You know what I mean? Yeah. So like certain things, I don't know. That's just me being creepy in my brain. I've woken up out of a horrible nightmare and not known where the hell I was because I was so like terrified from the nightmare one time in Canada. And after that, I never wanted to be in that cabin again because there's like 6 or 7 cabins to pick from. And that was when I was like, yeah, let's do a different cabin next year. I was like, fuck that. And I never slept in that bed again because it had like 8 beds and we only had 6 people. So I was like, I'm taking one of the other empty beds and not sleeping in that bed.
All right. Continuing on. So I truly believe it's the house. It's my dad's fault for fucking with the Ouija board that one time when he was a teen. The poor dad's just like, well, I can't do anything about it. That's how it is. My room at my dad's is in the unfinished and wonderfully cold and spooky basement. Well, that's your problem. That's where all the nightmares live. I mean,
that's where like the coolness lives too, but unfortunately also the spiders.
Which is a cardinal sin, I know. Anyway, in this first dream, I was laying in my bed. My room looked exactly the same. Bed in the corner, doorless closet at the foot of my bed, dresser to the left, laundry bin at the corner of my bed where I had left it. My dream locations had never exactly replicated real places before, so that was interesting. It was dark, but the darkness seemed enhanced. Darkness squared, you might say.
Wow. Darkness times darkness.
I started to feel really creeped out, so I tried to get up. That's when I realized I was frozen. I started panicking, but all my fearful thoughts stopped when my bottom left dresser drawer opened.
Why would your fearful thoughts stop then?
I stared at it in blank-minded fear as a 7-foot-tall, shadowy figure with white eyes jumped out of the drawer. It turned and bolted out of the room. That I would burn that dresser when I woke up, right? When I went upstairs that morning, the closet in the living room that is always closed had been left wide open. To this day, I'm still convinced that dude had come from the closet. I don't know. Our cat used to open the drawers and pull clothes out of it.
She would literally just open it with her paw and then just start scooping shit out of it like, fuck your clothes.
So you would just come home and there'd be a pile of clothes on the floor.
She wouldn't even go in there and sleep or anything like that. She was just doing it to be a dick.
And that's what I thought of when I was reading, like, the drawer just opened. I was like, maybe it's the cat pulling it out. Nope, it's not. All right, continuing on. Fun fact, when I was around 4, I made my dad take the doors off my closet because having them on scared me so much. Them being open or closed made no difference for me. A closet with doors is a cursed one.
Wow. We're looking at a closet behind the camera right now, and it has no doors.
It has no... I don't think... Our closet doesn't have doors either.
The guest room does.
The guest room does have doors, but I don't have to sleep in there. It has the demon door.
I have to sleep in there because Robin is doing homework and leaving the light on until 6 a.m. nowadays. I'm just like, I can't. And the fans turn low, and I'm like, I just can't sleep like this. It's too awful.
All right, so my second dream wasn't too long after. There's a room across from mine that was empty at the time. In my dream, I was floating in the center of the room. My legs were partially bent, and so were my stretched out arms. I was slowly tilting forward, moving in a way that would eventually have me upside down and facing behind me. That's terrifying. I could feel...
Sounds like you were going to be, and pardon my French, face down, ass up.
Oh my god. I could feel an ominous presence at my back and began freaking out. Sometime during my panic, I realized I was dreaming and began aggressively shouting at myself to move. I was trying desperately to move my legs or arms or something. Eventually, I felt my leg move a few inches. The most unsettling part, however, was that my leg didn't move in my dream. I so vividly felt the movement but didn't see any motion to accompany it. Then I woke up. I leapt out of bed and turned on my lights. I then stayed up for about 2 hours before going back to sleep. The funny thing about feeling like you're moving but not actually moving in your dream is usually for me it's like I'm moving in my dream and then I wake up and my leg is in the air. You know, have you ever had that?
Yeah, I've had you wake up and then just start like punching me.
Oh yeah, I've punched you. I've punched a lot of boyfriends in the face in my sleep, okay?
We've talked about this multiple times, but it honestly happens a lot. It's not like I'm just bringing up a single incident. Like, if she is in motion, or, like, sometimes she'll be in an argument. So, like, I'll be sleeping, and then I get woken up here being like, fuck you!
No, I don't. You're lying.
It's like her saying stuff. And I'll ask you, I'll be like, what was that? And you'll be like, we're fighting in my dream.
No fucking way. And then you go back to sleep. I've never said that.
I'm dead serious. You've done it at least 3 times I can remember in this house. Where it's like, maybe it's not fuck you, but it's always something, like, mean or, like, vicious. It's like, I'm leaving! And I'm just like, what is she talking about? And just wakes me up. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, you cheated on me in my dreams. And then she goes back. She rolls over angrily and goes back to sleep.
I've had where I've woken up sobbing because I've been crying in my dream and I just wake up and I'm just crying. It's really, really strange that our bodies do that, but it happens a lot to me. Where whatever's going on in my dream, if I'm running or something like that, my legs will start kicking or my arms will start flailing. Like maybe I'm playing baseball and my arms just chucked forward. I've had dreams where I've done kung fu and hit lots of people in real life.
I know kung fu.
But yeah, it happens. So, continuing on. In my next dream, a few months later, I was back in my room. I can't remember what I was doing, but I do remember that I was able to move freely, and my dream room door had a big frosted glass window, like the ones sometimes in bathrooms that help with privacy. I don't like that look. When you have a door in your bathroom, like say you have a water closet, and you have that frosted glass window.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a little weird. Because you can still see that there's someone in. It's just like, naughty.
I saw your outline taking a shit. Nice.
They render everything on the other side down to a blur of colors and a vague shape. Awful. Yeah, I agree. Awful. I heard footsteps go up the stairs, and I figured that it was just the dream version of the family friend that had moved in to live in the room next to mine. But as soon as the footsteps ended, I was overcome with the feeling that when I heard footsteps coming downstairs, it wouldn't be the family friend anymore. I came to the realization that I was dreaming. I began biting my cheeks, pinching myself, and slapping my arms while chanting in my head, because I couldn't speak, wake up, it's a dream and I need you to wake up. But unlike in other dreams, it didn't work. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
This dream marked the last ever nightmare with demonic presences I had where I could move. All my other less scary, but still scary dreams I had used the pinching tactic to wake up. My brain decided to take away my right to dream movement for the super awful dreams. Thanks for that. You just,
blame your brain.
Blame your brain. Back to the dream. I wasn't waking up and I was starting to panic, wondering, what if I'm stuck here? What if I die and don't wake up?
Wow.
I tried to calm... That's just such a morbid thought, right?
It is. Scary, too.
I tried to calm down, figuring that if there actually was something dangerous in my dreams, that fear would only make it stronger. That resolve crumbled pretty quickly, though, as I could hear descending footsteps. I started stomping and jumping and pinching myself. Then I saw a blur of gray and black walk past the window, and my only thought was, fuck, fuck, fuck. Suddenly, inside my room, right in front of the door, was a 6-foot-tall woman in gray. She looked like she was decaying, some pieces of flesh missing to reveal shriveled muscle and or maggots. Fucking gross. Her face was fucked. Oh, wow. God. But I can't remember in what way specifically, so that word shall be a suitable description replacement. I backed up and sat on my bed, staring at her while she stared back, neither of us moving. Then I snapped out of it, pulled my shirt up over my face, curled into the fetal position, and resumed my wake-up chanting until I finally awoke. It took me a while to fall back asleep again.
That's pretty friggin' intense.
That's super scary. I have had dreams where I don't want to lift the blanket over my head because I'm just scared that something will be there.
You will be safe unless it is Rocky Mountain locusts, which, as we all now know, will eat through that blanket in mere moments.
My God, I cannot believe that. That's absolutely insane. But yeah.
That's pretty good. That was half of the email.
Yeah.
The other half is to come after this commercial break. And we're back. So I'm going to read the second half of that very long email about the dreams. Again, this is from Aslan, the lion from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I'm sorry if I'm making fun of your name. I just thought it was funny. I think it's a great name. Aislynn. So probably Aslan?
Aslan.
Every time I try and say it, I feel like I'm getting closer to what's in that stupid book. So, all right, I'm going to just keep going. This next dream is probably the scariest damn thing I've dreamed yet. It was about 3 months ago. In my dream, darkness squared was back. I was crouched at my blue laundry bin at the foot of my bed, just in front of my closet. I was digging through the clean clothes, looking for something. Eventually, I came across a frog onesie, which is not something I own. As I grabbed it, I felt the texture so vividly that I can still remember. The onesie looked both lightly matted and super friggin' fluffy, but the texture was something that I can only describe as sandpaper. If it was made into fluff, but retained every bit of its horrible texture. As I touched it, I'm just like thinking of what that could be in real life, like a Brillo pad maybe. As I touched it, a burning heat bloomed in my chest. Then I heard a super demonic sounding voice say, "Oh, did you find what I left for you? Don't worry about it. It's nothing." Midway through the sentence, the same burning heat blossomed through the front of my head. Then in dreamlike fashion, I was teleported onto my bed in the same position I had fallen asleep in. My back was to my closet, I couldn't see a thing, and I couldn't move. But I could feel this burning heat now at my back, and I knew for a fact that whatever had spoken in my mind was laying behind me. Wow, this sounds like demon spooning, and I'm not into it. I can't recall how, but I realized I was in a dream. I began my wake-up chant in my head while thoughts of utter panic swarmed in my mind. Then, from the corner of my vision, coming from where the heat was, I saw a hand start to reach over. I totally fucking called it. It's the demon spoon. It had terribly long fingers, too long for the already abnormally large hand. It was gray with weird black patches, and as it reached towards my face, I woke up. As per usual, I ran straight to my light switch and spent a while awake. The last dream I'll tell is one of the few dreams, good or bad, that I've had which features people I know. My friend group in particular. It doesn't have demons in it, but it's still something crazy enough that I feel I should share it. We are in a vehicle with an interior like a limo, but through the window the outside looked like a bus, and we were as high off the ground as buses are. There was a driver which I couldn't see. Oh no. Oh no. Immediately I'm like, this driver is going to be evil. They said there wasn't going to be a demon in this though. And a strange man sitting on the seat nearest to the driver. Out of nowhere, this dude gets up and pushes her out the driver's side door and takes over driving. My friends and I start flipping, shouting at the dude and screaming. For some reason, we were driving on the left side of the road like in England, and there were 2 lanes of oncoming traffic to our right. The dude who took over driving steers us into the far right lane, and we yell more. Luckily, no oncoming traffic came. The dude put the pedal to the metal, and we sped down the road as it began to go upwards on a hill. In my head, I'm thinking, if he doesn't stop now, we're going to go over the cliff, not too far ahead, that's just up this hill. I don't know how I knew that, but I just did. This wouldn't be a wacky dream if this guy slowed down, now would it? We go flying off this cliff, which is roughly a 300-foot drop to a lake. I reach and grasp the hand of the friend sitting next to me and squeeze it as hard as possible. We're all tossed up as far as our seatbelts allowed. Safety first, everybody. And we hit the water. That's in the email. That wasn't a quip of mine. That's why it was funny. I've never been able to open my eyes underwater, and Dream Me is no different. I close my eyes as we make impact, and the vehicle immediately fills with water. I hear the sound of glass breaking from 2 different directions, and then I'm back in the vehicle, and we're speeding up the hill. This time,
is like a
3 of my friends
there.
Are missing. It's just me and 2 others.
No.
So it's like it reset, but you lost people. As we careen off the cliff again, I come to the realization that we're all dead already, and we're just reliving our death. This time, as we make impact, I keep my eyes open. I hear the glass breaking again and see 2 windows break, the ones closest to the friends that escaped. My remaining friends and I, quote-unquote, die a few more times before waking up in the black of a car, coughing up water. The 3 friends who escaped in the front seats driving us hurriedly somewhere. Then I woke up. The weirdest part about this, though, is that when I told my friends, the friend whose hand I grabbed in my dream said his hand hurt.
No
We're
way.
all pretty sure it was just a super funky coincidence. That doesn't keep it from being at least a little creepy. That's all from me and my messed up brain or demons, but before I go, I just want to say that I love the podcast so much. I've always loved weird and creepy things, and you 2 are so dedicated to making episodes great. The research and the telling of the stories, your tangents, and your banter all make for a podcast I truly enjoy every day that I listen. I hope you found my dream as spooky and interesting as I do. Have a wonderful day, y'all. Thank you so much for sending it in.
Thank you.
I think we find it more interesting and more fascinating than you do, because I'm like trying to break down the psychology behind it.
Yeah, and
like, what could this mean?
I've had the dream where I've been driving on this road. There's a road on the island where I'm from that just is on a cliff. And that's just how you get from one end of the island to the other. And it's this curvy road along the side of the cliff. And I've had on multiple occasions these nightmares where I just fly off of it. You know, the car just... Either I fly out of the car, like I can't keep myself down in the car and I kind of just float off into nowhere, or fly out of the car and end up in the water or whatever. And I've had that dream so many times. It's one of my worst ones that I have over and over and over again. So I'm wondering if it means something when you have a dream like that.
I'm sure it does. I don't have a dream book or anything. But like, it's so funny though, because as I'm reading the dream emails, I start to forget that I'm supposed to be analyzing it, because I don't really have to be, you know?
Yeah.
And then I just realize like, oh, I'm just like in the moment, like reading the dream.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know what it could be. Definitely the spooning of the demon thing, or like reaching around you, is just absolutely terrifying. I think the most interesting part for sure is the fact that after you quote unquote died, your dream reset, you know, and then there were people missing, because it almost felt a little bit like Final Destination, except that you had to replay it over and over again, which is just bizarre. It reminded me of Lucifer, actually.
Really?
Where hell is you reliving like...
Oh, your worst moments or something like that.
So, I don't know. It was a really creepy dream, and I'm happy that you had it and not me. So,
yeah.
Thank you for sending all that in, though. We sincerely appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to go into my last email, the last email of the night, and it's titled Haunted Auto Parts Store.
Interesting. I wonder which one it is. Is it Riley's or AutoZone? Oh no.
What about Napa?
No one goes to Napa. They don't have any Napa know-how.
Napa's like the only...
God damn it, Napa.
Oh my god.
That dude couldn't change a fucking tire to save his life. He
it's
just
a Dragon
the
Ball
car.
Z reference.
All right. we haven't even gotten to the email and I'm already talking shit,
God.
so I'll just let you get going.
All right. Anyway. Greetings once again, Adam and Robin. Hello. Greetings.
Greetings.
I used to work at an auto parts store, and upon getting hired at this location, I was told by some of the employees, then my coworkers, that the building was inhabited by Casper.
Wow. We just talked about that
I wonder
movie in
if it
today's
was a
episode.
friendly ghost.
That might be why they named him Casper. That would make sense. I wonder if you get annoyed as a ghost being named Casper, you know? It's like, we're not all named Casper, dickhead. Like, that's just one ghost.
Then I would try to make it an effort to write on the mirror in the bathroom, like, this is my name.
Wow.
I looked at the one guy and said, Casper, you mean a friendly ghost? And he said, yep, you'll see. Just watch and pay attention. Casper moves things. What I noticed first is that Casper liked to move some of the lighter products that hung on the peg hooks.
I am Beef Trainer in the chat just said, "This is my story." Congratulations.
Which could be taken as the wind moving them, but there would be no draft or wind, and you'd still see some of these products move anyway. I was made inventory specialist almost immediately, which meant that I kept up the product on the shelves and organized our backstock. One of the days in which I had just completed backstock moves, bringing up product that the computer said we needed, restocked on the sales floor, I replaced the backstock cart back in its place and proceeded back to the sales floor. I looked back because I heard a cart being rolled and found that it was following me. I just calmly said, "No, Casper, the backstock moves are done. The cart needs to stay back here now," and moved the cart back again to its place. The cart did not follow after me again. We had also noticed that some of our displays on the counter would often be moved around, even when no customers were in the store examining the products. The manager and myself, usually it was two of us in the store, it was one of our company's smaller stores, would be working on other things and not be around the product displays on the counters, so we knew it was Casper. We had a management change about a month after I was hired and went a month without a named GM for our store. Once our new GM was announced, we had another month before he came in, and once he did, it seemed Casper wasn't a fan of him.
Oh no. This guy came in and fucked up the energy.
We came in one morning to find the auto battery accessories that hung along the battery rack at the top had all fallen to the floor. Peg hooks, extension bars, and everything. We decided to take a look at the security cameras once we had everything picked back up and redone, and were kind of shocked to see what we saw on the screen. The extension bar was lifted up by something invisible and allowed to drop, scattering the products and the peg hooks on the floor. The GM looked at me and I looked at him. I put my hands in the air in the gesture of I surrender and said, "I was informed here that there was a Casper.
Oh, no.
He made a backstock cart follow after me once. Were you not told of Casper before now? Casper is usually not a mess maker and seemed friendly until this."
Wow.
He's probably like, "Fuck this new guy."
Right?
Casper hadn't done anything else similar to this since then until I transferred stores. Just on occasion, made the lighter products sway per Casper's usual. To this day, I have no clue if Casper is a male or female, and I haven't worked at that location for 7 years, and to my knowledge, Casper's still there, though the crew I worked with has all moved on to other jobs or other locations. As always, you're more than welcome to share and read this on the live stream. Annette, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am Beef Trainer.
Yeah, we appreciate you sending that in, and thank you for watching us live, so you got to see us read your story. It's pretty crazy. I have never worked somewhere where there was a ghost or presence that someone has warned me about. I've worked places with awful creatures, but they were all humans.
Oh my god.
I've never worked in a place where there was some sort of spiritual energy or things that people were really, really creeped out about. So the fact that a cart actually followed you and you had to tell your GM, this is the first time it's been destructive. You didn't know about this?
When the cart followed you, I was just like, that is terrifying. Imagine walking around and having something follow you that shouldn't be.
In my mind's ear, I hear the music from the opening of Ghostbusters when they're going through the library, and it's like, I don't know. I definitely didn't do that sound effect very effectively, but anyone who's seen the movie
that
knows
sounds
what
like
I'm
a
talking about.
phone ring.
So it's when it's ring, 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 you know what I'm talking about? So, all right. Thank you so much for sending that story in. I want to thank everyone who sent in a story this week. We sincerely appreciate you folks sharing those details with us. It's not easy to write in a story about something that's happened to you, or a dream that you've had, or an experience that you've gone through, or someone you know has gone through, so we do appreciate that. If you have a story you would like to share, please email storytime@scarish.com, or go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. Fill out that form. It comes directly to us. Or you can hit us up on any of our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us monetarily, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. There's a whole bunch of different tiers on there. Tiers start at $1 You can also go to ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast, and those are one-time donations. All your donations go to helping us upgrade our studio setup and keep this podcast going, help us live. Help us
live. And I think that's just about everything we have for this episode of Storytime. So Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.